And a good morning. Gonna make a new video. I'm setting up a room like a scratch built. Yeah, you know, I'm sometimes in the country, sometimes in the city. When I'm in the city, I'm doing this. When I'm in the country, I'm doing digging. Yeah, so one of my clients wants to do some work with percussion and recording, but I need to make him independent. I don't want to have to be here every single time he wants to do something. And his schedule is funky, as everybody's schedule is these days. So I'm setting him up with a percussion room where he can come in and pretty much flip the switch and start the recording. And so for this, I love this. I'll show it to you in a moment. These Cymatic live recorders, because you just stick a USB drive in there and press the big red button, and you're good to go. So this is the basic setup at the moment, I'll point at each thing, and I'm making this video for him so that he can refer back to it and remember things because, you know, it's a lot of information at once, and then also for everybody else who might have an interest in multi-channel recording with minimal hassle. So here's the room. Got to do something about these blue walls. I hate the blue walls. I think I'm going to get some burlap and put some burlap on it. What I'm doing here is he plays this funny, right now he's playing this funny metal stool. It sounds beautiful, and you know, I'll play it a little bit, but he's way better than me. I'm not a percussionist, so my examples will be minimal. What I got here is I got two Neumann U89s. Yes, U89s hanging over. I made this funny, there in the center there, this funny microphone setup with these two AKG, you know, prosumer from the 1990s maybe microphones. They're actually not so bad, and I have a pair of them. I bought them for €25 on the Rua, essentially. And then I put this piece of cardboard between and set them up in this what's it called again? When you split the mics, it's the Deca setup or something like that. Yeah, so there's my Deca. I got my two overheads, and then here, centering up, I got the bomb. That is the Western Electric transmitter, and that's was used to be set up upside down in recording studios in the 1930s. So this mic was a standard studio mic, radio mic from the 1930s. Over there in the back, you might see it. Let me see. Take my finger. That one there. That's the Apple and Biscuit. What we call the Apple and Biscuit, and that is, I can't remember the brand name, and yes, it is set up right. That's an Omni mic, so that is actually set up correctly. You want it pointing up like that, so 1, 2, 3, well, how many? 1, 2, my little funny stereo pair there, the bomb, 3, 4, 5, the two Neumann 5, the two Neumann overheads, 6, which is the Apple and Biscuit, and then I'm going to swing around, jiggly camera, to show you my 7 and 8, which is the AKG Harry Kunstkopf, it was called, also known as Harry. So this was a prototype dummy head, or Kunstkopf as they call it in German, so art head in German, dummy head in English. Curious about that translation. There are very few of this model in the world. I think this is the 15 of 15. Somebody gave it to me, or permanent loan. But this was a prototype dummy head from, I don't know, the 70s, made by AKG. It's okay. So that's 7/8. And I got some cables that need fixing and stuff like that. So I'm not going to actually do a full 8 channel recording, and I have not yet set up my monitor speakers yet. But here's just sort of where I'm going with this slow build out. Unfortunately, this is also where our internet repeater is located. But this is then the setup. So jiggly camera, maybe make an edit while I set this up so we can see what's going on here. Okay, I think that'll do. Alright, so what do I got here? I got an ART Tube Optico 8 preamps. So I have 8 channels of preamps in one U, and they're running on valves, on tubes. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really enhance the sound. This was not an expensive rack, but what it gives me is essentially a mixer. I've got phantom power on channels. I also have an optical hookup that interfaces really nicely with other mixing desks and things. But I don't use that very much anymore. I was for a while. So this is basically my mobile rig in a 2U case. So what am I recording with? I'm recording with this Cymatic U24 recorder. This is not a product endorsement. I'm getting no money. I like this. I find it very simple. This is my third. So I started with the Utrack-24, really ultra small. It was only like this big, 16 channel recorder. And what I loved about it is that all you do is you just stick a USB stick in here and press the big button, and you're recording. Now this is their advanced model. They don't sell the U16 anymore. I'm glad I have 2 of them because they are really super handy. This is the 24 channel, much advanced. It actually has 24 ins and 24 outs. So I can use this to record 24 channels independently, or I could use this to do a playback of sort of an audio scape with 24 individual speakers. So this is a 24 outs as well as 24 ins, which is wonderful. And it's really affordable. It's really super affordable. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it's very cost effective. Probably the least expensive 24 channel recorder there is. It also has, you don't have to use just USB. It also has a USB out to any DAW. Works with Reaper, which is what I use. I've worked with iOS, with Android, not with Android, but with tablets. What are they called? iPads. But I tend to be a PC person, and I've never had any problems with running any of the Cymatic stuff on my PC into Reaper, as long as I configure my drivers correctly. That's always the Windows problem. Drivers, drivers, drivers. I haven't yet tried this with Linux. I should give that a try because I do have a Linux machine. At any rate, so you can see here I'm already, I got my blinky lights. These things are live. I think I'm only doing 6 or 7 channels. I got some cabling issues at the moment, but I'll eventually work that out. So again, this is so simple. Insert your drive. Now I would say unequivocally, that's the word, you have a pen or an external hard drive that 32 gigabytes is enough, so that's like 10 euros. Very inexpensive, but use it only for this purpose. Don't put your other files on there and your Facebook stuff and your images. So every time I start a recording session with this device, I format it. And so that's actually very simple, and we'll do it right now, just so we can see. You got this button up here, which gets to our settings, and then we got this knob that you can turn, and then you go to utilities, and then you press the knob, and you're in utilities. And delete songs, system details, whatever. Format USB, press the button again, and then turn it to say yes. Okay. And so now we're formatting the drive. Format drive succeeded. Okay, and so we're essentially ready to record. There's nothing on that disk. It's been formatted according to the way this device likes it, and I'm ready to record. So now I'm going to swing the camera around. Well, I'm going to press record, which is simply doing this. I am now recording, and so you're going to watch me play really bad percussion. My father was a drummer, playing in big bands in the 40s and 50s, and for some reason I never became a drummer. But what is interesting, my brother Alan and his kids have an interest in music, doing Nirvana covers and things like that. And so he actually got himself a drum kit so he can play drums with the kids. So this is Hayden's instrument, and I can't play it the way he does. Certainly not. So I'm just going to position these overhead. You see a little bit of distance between the two. I have them in cardioid. Nothing fancy here. But the 89s are really nice because you can do hypercardioid. So cardioid is this kind of pattern that looks like this. So cardioid is going to go like this around the mic, right? And hypercardioid, which these 89s provide, is going to go like this, so like a slender, very thin stem here on the outside, and then open here. And that can be very useful for overheads on drums. But okay, Aiden, we'll get into those settings later. Hayden is really interesting. He gets these resonances out of this metal can that are really quite amazing. It almost sounds like there's effects processing on it, but there isn't any. It's just this kind of accumulation of resonance and frequencies that are colliding, and really quite lovely what he does. So at any rate, stop the recording, and we'll proceed from there. Yeah, swing the mic out. And swing the camera back. So yeah, to stop the recording, you go like this. Okay, then we got take 01. And it's already getting ready for the next recording. But we're not going to do that. There's no eject feature, safely remove hardware, so you just yak it out. A jank. I don't have my computer here, so we're going to go upstairs. And and put it into drag it into Reaper, and then make separate tracks. While I do that, I'll just give you a walking tour of the studio. On the way up, so this is the new percussion room, the ubiquitous Tasha. Going up the stairs. Oops. Storage. And here I am in my office of sorts. So from this point on, I theoretically can sync them up. All right, so step one. Well, get this out of the way. Step one is launching Reaper. Now, again, this is not an endorsement, except maybe it is. I'm not getting paid. But I love Reaper. Reaper is, I license it. I have a proper license. But indeed, you can download the demo, fully featured. It never expires. It just has a nag screen. And then when you want to license it for personal small business use, it's €60, $60 or something. Why do you want to spend all that money on Pro Tools or get your Pro Tools hack from a Russian website that inserts all kinds of viruses into your machine? Yeah, just give these guys $60. You can do video editing right in here. Synced. It's just a plugin. It's free. The plugin is free. Yeah, I don't understand why anybody doesn't use Reaper. I love Reaper. It's not what's called non-destructive. Some people use Ableton Live, and Ableton Live is a great piece of software, but it's not really, I don't think, in my personal opinion, it's really for audio editing, post-production. It's really for doing crazy stuff live on stage, because it is destructive. That's what I found with Ableton, is that you make a change to your WAV file and it changes the WAV file. Whereas Reaper, it doesn't do that. Your original tracks are your original tracks, and then it applies things on top. So step next step next is to insert the drive, cross your fingers, and hope that it reads. All right, so I'm inserting the drive. Oh, so what do we get here? We've got a USB drive F and this thing called multitrack. So that's the device. Here, if I click on multitrack, you see two folders. There's take one. That's the one I did. But it already is, the device already sets itself up with a temporary take two as soon as you press the stop button. So in general, ignore _temp take n, whatever it happens to be. So what do we have in take 01? Oh, we have a couple of interesting things. We have a log file. So it actually shows us what it did. Okay, that's nice. I love log files. I'm a computer engineer, so I love log files. And then we have this set. Open and edit with Notepad++. Let's see what's in the set. So this is like kind of looks like HTML, or it's some kind of markup language that's telling what is going on various channels. And you use this advanced feature. I'll show it to you later. You use that to piece together. To piece together if you have very long recordings, right? So the nice thing about the Utrack-24 which is also a little bit of a hassle, but it's also nice, is that it once a file reaches a certain size, it puts it out to the side and continues to record onto a new file. So that's why you see take 01001 wave here. So if you have multiples of these, you got to piece them back together to get the full session. Let's say you just recorded for 3 hours. And there is a tool to do that automatically. And you can do it in Reaper, of course, as well. But okay, so generally speaking, you'll have, or at least my client Hayden will have, 30-minute recordings, maybe 20-minute, 15 minutes sessions. So he will have multiple takes. Probably won't need to worry about it. But we can get into that later. So all you got to do now is take the wave from the wave file, and drop it in here. Now, this is a multi-channel recording, so this is a wave file that actually has all 8 channels inside of it. So after you just drag and drop it into the timeline, it's going to do some processing. Process. And I have it on hysterical mode at the moment, histograph mode, because I just like to look at these colors, right? My individual peaks on my channels, I'm not really interested in. I like to see the frequencies, and the purple and the red and the orange. I love that. I get into the peaks later, but if I do a nice recording, I don't care about the peaks, right? Because I haven't peaked, because I have my preamp set up just right. And yes, no worries. I think I got our preamp set up just right. An occasional spike is fine if you hit it really hard. If you're hitting it really hard a lot, then, look at the monitor, look at the little blinky lights. And if they're going too red, you got to reach over and dial down your gain. Maybe I'll make a video of that as well, like set up a full drum kit inside the percussion room and get a banger, like some heavy metal guy to go smack on the drums. And then you see that, oh yeah, boo, got to dial that down. Oh, and then on the microphones, oh, we probably should put a minus 10 dB pad on the, on the mics, because they have these switches. But it's the future. Basics. So this should be perfectly good for you. So what do I got here? I got a single take, a single track that has multiple channels in it, obviously. Very interesting. So first thing I want to do is you can't really do anything with this unless you explode them and make them into single tracks. So I'm right clicking here. Whoops, let me start again. I'm right clicking on here, and I'm going to go to item processing. Okay, item processing. And then what I want to do is explode multi-channel audio or MIDI items into new one-channel items. Right here, explode. So it's going to take a little bit. Chunky. Seven, 8, 9. Okay. So what do we have now? Let me just size the screen a little bit. Oops, hello. There we go. If I scroll down. So here are my individual channels exploded. So now I'm just sizing them up a little bit better, because, for some reason it has a default size. And so just make my tracks a little narrower. You'll see that channel 8 here and channel 7 have nothing in it, because I got some cabling problem I got to sort out. But I'm going to do the full 8 already, but this is quite enough. Oh, channel 6 seems to maybe also be kind of a nothing channel, again, because of cabling. Or maybe my mics need some servicing. So there's actually nothing here right now on channel 7 and channel 8. So I'm just going to simply click on this one and remove the track. Right click, right click, right click, remove the track. Now, I don't think there's anything here but noise on channel 6, because it should look, at least somewhat similar to all the others. And so I think, again, I probably have some busted cable, or maybe the mic needs some servicing. I don't know. I will look into that. But in the meantime, you got a lot of stuff here to work with. So I'm already going to go ahead and remove this one because, there's nothing there. There's just white noise. And so here we are with 5 channels. Now the Neumann U89s are channel 1 and channel 2, as I explained. And these are your primaries. Those are your overheads. And then I have my spice mics, which are my kind of sort of crazy arrangement of things. Yeah, I'll make a little list of where we plug everything into, so you at least know which one is which. I already don't remember. But there we have the project now exploded into multiple channels. What I'm going to do next is I'm simply going to remove this original track. So I'm not clicking here, right? I'm not right clicking here. I'm right clicking here on this, and I'm going to remove items. Right, so items are the track, are the wave files essentially, whereas the tracks are the whole entire track. So I'm removing items, and now you see I actually have my peaks. I have the peaks, and I also have my frequency histogram down here. And this looks good. Nothing's pushing up here to the top or bottom. You don't want things to push up to the top or bottom, because then you have what's called digital clipping, meaning that the waveform is going up like this. It hits the maximum resolution of your recording, your digital recording. And so that all you got up on there is just a flat line. If it's going up beyond the top here, you just got a flat line. So there's no data. So it's going to be just like, it's just going to be noise. But this looks pretty good. And then, okay, play it back. So doing nothing. And this is just crappy speakers on my laptop. Okay, what do we see here? In terms of, plug your headphones in, it sounds much better. What do we see here in terms of that initial playback on my spiky area here? This is the recording. This is me just blathering, talking. This is the actual recording that I did. What do we see here? We have some lights and some lights here. It's saying plus 3 dB here and plus 3 dB here, meaning that, okay, on our output in our mix, we're actually digitally spiking, peaking. So what I do is I click on the ugly red lights, and then I want to turn down my output. I want to reduce it. And so initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them. So that's click left click, shift, right. So now I've selected all my tracks, and I'm going to grab the faders here, and I'm just going to bounce them down a little bit. -5, -6. It's kind of the magic number, -5, -6. And play back again. There we go. No spikies. Not bad. Well, so now to do a quickie mix, what I usually do is I take my 2 overheads and I aggressively pan them. So this is your pan. And so I'm going to pan left and right. And I'm just going to aggressively pan all my takes. just for the hell of it. And then I listen. And again, headphones would be nice, or some kind of wire into this. Maybe I'm recording system audio, I'm not sure. Okay, and then what I would do next is, okay, so that's hard pan, and then I might start soloing tracks. So I know that these two are my overheads, right? One, wait, no, not the take, these two. Take 01, channel 2, 3. Yeah, you'll get it. Not this one, but this one. This one needs to stay center panned, which it is. So this is the group. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you that. So here is now instantly a group of all the channels. So on this group, I can actually add effects or compression or something, and it'll apply to each and every track. All right, but let's go back to this. So I'm soloing these two SS. So this is just the sound of my overheads. Which are really the primary mics. Now I want to now start playing around with different mixes. So my Spice mics, in many ways, you know, I use my Spice mics as EQ. This is my philosophy. Rather than applying an EQ to the tracks, mix in different microphones to get the EQ you want. I don't know if anybody else has this philosophy, but it makes good sense to me. So a little feature here, you can, if you go up here into the timeline, you can, you can drag a selection like this. So this is highlighted. Then you can move it around like this. And then you can press the repeat button here, toggle repeat. So now it's just going to loop around in that one section repeatedly, which is nice because it's looping. And then I can sort of turn things on and off and listen to what the changes that I'm making are actually doing. Oh, jump in here. So I just added mic 4. So I'm just really listening to how this is changing the sound. And asking myself, oh, maybe more of this one. Maybe more of that one. That was a big change in sound. Oh, plus that one's peaking a little bit. So now I'm just fiddling and listening. Okay. And now the final, well, not yet, the penultimate thing is to also listen and then phase. So I'm going to open it all up. All right, I got them all on at this moment. And then I want to switch phase. So what does phase mean? So phase is, if you're imagining a sine wave, a pure sine wave, it goes up and down, goes up and down, goes up and down. If you phase it, or you flip it in phase, and there's actually a lot of argumentation about the meaning of phase and the meaning of inversion, but just to keep it simple, if you flip the phase, you're taking one track and where it's going up, you're saying, no, it's going down. And then it goes up. So if you have two mics in close proximity, what one often does, if you have two mics in close proximity, very close together, if you were to take one of the mics and flip the phase to the negative, you'll be basically canceling out the sound. You'll have no sound because where it's going down, the other one's going up equally. So you end up with actually 0. And I'll do a demonstration of that eventually with a sine wave generator, right? So a pure sine wave, you can see how this happens. But then what I do, again, I'm just using my ears, what's left of my ears at 55 years old, being a punk rocker. So what's left of my ears after 55 years old, I'm going to do some phase inversion and just to see how it changes the sound. So the phase inversion thingy, oh yeah, it's this one here. It's this 0, phase normal, phase inverted. What do I like better? Now, usually with the two overheads, I don't phase invert them, and it's the Spice mics that I will phase invert. And I'm really just saying, do I like it better? Do I like? Does it have any change? Do I like it better? Is it adding more body? Is it taking body away? Am I losing resonances? So again, that's just a question of taste, which is why, at a certain point, I just decided I don't do mix master. I just do the recordings because it's so taste oriented. Whereas, microphone positioning and good recording techniques. I think okay, again, controversial. I think they have less to do with your ears and more to do with your eyes. What are you seeing on the screen? What are the distances? If the size of the drum pad is this big, there's calculations to say that, okay, optimal mic placement should start here. I use my ears during adjusting of the mics, but I trust my mics. I know that, yes, 10 centimeters can matter, but usually with a really great mic, 10 centimeters doesn't matter. You just got a slightly different sound. But all right, whatever, controversial statement. I am indeed 55 years old, and one of my studio associates, Piano, he's a much younger man. I don't know what is he? He's 30 maybe, 30 maybe. And we were doing a signal sweep with a sine wave generator. And so I'm bringing up the frequencies to, a certain level. I can't remember where my cutoff was. I mean, 10 kilohertz or something. And I bring it up past that, and I say, I can't hear anything. Can you hear anything? Yeah, I can hear it. so protect your ears. Don't be like me. Protect your ears. And so that's basically the whole thing. Okay, now what I do finally, almost always, I'm going to export this little section. I'm going to choose a section, right? So this is nice for export as well, because you got a bunch of garbage here, and we can get into editing later. And there's YouTube videos that show it as well. But just to finish the demonstration. So here's a selection of time that I've made, which is where I'm actually playing and not blathering on about stuff. And so now what I'll do, I'll keep the repeat on for now. What I'll do finally is I'll add some effects. So if you click on the FX on the top, right? That's the nice thing about importing from Cymatic into Reaper and then exploding the tracks is you already got a group, right? So anything I apply to this is going to be applied to the sum of these. And now, of course, I can apply individual effects and equalizations to each individual track. But quick bounce, just to get an idea, I just do the hard pan. I get my levels okay, so it's not peaking. And then I choose a track. I choose a plugin. So add effects to track 1. And, right now it's going to be recomp. That's my compressor. Sometimes I do refer, which is my EQ, final EQ, but I'm not even going to EQ it. I'm just going to do the compressor. You can play around with EQ. And this is, again, sort of my default settings. So in Reaper, you get your compression, and we have presets. And, usually what I do is Master Bus Glue or Master Bus New York Comp. And then you see you have all the vintage overheads. These are the things that you might add to individual tracks. But be careful with that, because compression on top of compression is ugly. So I usually go with Master Bus New York comp as my default, and because I'm from New York. And then I press play, and then I'm looking here at what's happening to the signal. And what I like to try to do is get where it's going red, which is indicating where it's compressing, and here's the output mix. I try to like to get them to be kind of the same, you know, or so that they're leveling at each other. They're achieving the same level. Now, if I go like this, I am heavily compressed. Heavily compressed. And for me, I think I just like them to cross each other. I don't know why, but that's for my ears and also for my eyes. It just seems to be a nice thing to do. All right, so that's done. And now let's export. So our final stereo bounce of all the channels. Nope. Cancel. All right, get rid of that. All right, so I've got my timeline selected. And now what I'll do is I'll just simply go File, Render. And then you want to give it a name, of course. You want to put it someplace. So I'm going to put it just to my desktop. Right straight to my desktop. I'm going to call it the test for video. And okay, 44,100 hertz is CD quality audio. I record in 48. We can have that discussion later, but 44.1 is fine. Basically, accept these defaults. What we're looking for is source master mix in general, and bounds time selection. So what this is going to do is just going to render this area that I've highlighted here. Ignore that for the most part. What's my format? I can export in WAV or MP3. That's an extra plugin. We can go into that later. But WAV is nice, but you know, for release MP3, and bitrate very high, and render one file. Oh, and here we got something unexpected. I've got no right channel and just a very slim left channel. So obviously I did something wrong. So we go back to the playback and have a look. All right, I've got nothing going to my right channel. Why is that? All right. Oh, that's why, because I hard panned. So now I'm going to change my panning, because I obviously, I panned the wrong thing. Some of them I'll maybe center pan. So you play with your pannings. Okay, boom. There we go. You see, the right channel is a little lower, so something that might be panned to the right, I might bring up. Try to get those equal. Okay, render again. File, render. Render one file. Overwrite. Not better, but I think I could actually up my output volume, because indeed, I want something. What is it saying there? It's -6, -5 dB here. It says -6, -5. Depends on who's doing the mastering. All kinds of different opinions about that. But you know, -5, -3, -4 is what they kind of like. But if you're doing your own mastering, you want to just get the track out good enough. I'm going to bring my master up, and then I'm going to render again. Override. Yeah, okay.
That's more like I want. Okay, I do actually seem to have a little bit of a peak on the right. So I'm going to actually pan a little harder to the left on my master. Render again. Okay, I'll go with that. And then, show an explorer. And there's my test for video MP3. Done and done. File save project. So save project, very important. Everything's on my USB drive. I've worked with this. I don't want it to be on my USB drive anymore. So you pick a location. I'll go desktop. I'm going to go test for video. Test for video. And then I'm going to create a subdirectory and copy all the media into the project. So it's going to do two things at once. It's going to save my project as it is, and it's also going to take all my source material and move it. So moving it off of the USB drive. So now it's on my computer. Now you can simply work off the USB drive, except that I kind of like to format the USB drive every time I do a recording. But if you have limited space on your hard drive, maybe you just keep on saving it to the USB stick. Buy some external storage. So now it's creating the project, basically saving and creating the project. Done and done.